there were tools, and what ended up, you know, really helping or building the practice was actually the lockdown, because then clients didn't expect to see anyone, and at some point, didn't really wanna waste the time
Yeah.
coming down to the office when they can just call me up while they're driving around on their commute into the office, or when they're driving around, the fields in their truck, and so it actually really helped,
Mhm.
me build the practice, and I was working, with another law firm, of counsel, and then about a year and a half ago, I started my own law firm, Dennison Immigration, which has been fantastic.
Wonderful. So you're living the dream. How a lot of times when you you have a dream, and when you reach it, you're like, oh, isn't that good? Or there's these issues. How has it been? Because everyone wants to move to Europe and work remotely. That sounds like, yeah, like most immigration lawyers. How has it been? Pluses and minuses.
Like, I live each day with gratitude. I truly do, and what's interesting is that, like, you're posting on LinkedIn a lot, and you're interacting with the groups, and it is like, you're positioning yourself as a thought leader, and I think I know a lot about, H2Bs and perms and adjustments for people who are really hard, but my posts that resonate with everyone are, "Look at me, working from Belgium today. Look at
Yeah.
me working from India today. Here
Yeah.
I am working from Slovenia and Croatia today," or "It is the dream." I get a lot of response, and actually it's come to the point where I've started to build up this global mobility part
Yeah.
of my practice. Part of it is in the global mobility landscape is to help, people to come to Europe to uh retire,
Yeah.
or to come to, if we need to park certain employees outside of the US while they're waiting for adjudication
Hmm.
or for processing, then there are certain countries that benefit from certain other things, or, you know, but a big part of it is, yeah, lawyers who are saying, "Is it possible? Can I have a remote law firm? Can I go live and work in Europe and have, and also be a lawyer, be the
Hmm.
person who I want to be and practice?" And the answer is yes. But having said that, yeah, there's a lot that goes on with it, right? I mean, when you have a cross-border practice, I have 2 business entities, one in California and one in the Netherlands. They work together. There's a taxation as it relates to both countries, as well as my personal taxation that, and there's treaties, and it's all individual between the countries, and then,
Are you on
as it
E2 over
relates
there,
to
or I don't too much personal? Are you on E2, like the you're
No, I'm not. So we moved over here, and my husband was on a highly skilled migrant visa, which is the equivalent of an H-1B. And then I was an equivalent, let's say, of an H-4, but I was allowed to work
oh,
on that, like the trailing
nice.
spouse, let's say, visa. And then after 5 years, we became eligible for naturalization or
So they jumped from like the
EU
visa to
permanent
naturalization. No
residency.
did you get residency or?
So now I have an EU permanent residency,
Mhm.
um, and my husband has now Dutch citizenship, and I'm waiting for my ceremony
Oh,
for
wow, congrats,
naturalization.
okay.
But there's some immigration lawyer workmanship that we're doing here, because the Netherlands doesn't allow dual citizenship, but only under certain
Yeah.
situations, and so anyway, but yeah, I mean, this is his 3rd citizenship. He started with India, then he had to give up India to get the US, and now we're trying to keep the 2,
Yeah.
and let's see how it goes, and, but yeah.
How does it work with regard to kids and stuff, schooling, or are they adjusting? How does that all work?
When my kids came, they were 3 years old and 3 months
Oh,
old,
wow, that's all they know.
and so this is really the
Yeah.
only life they've ever known.
How was it for you having a 3-month-old traveling? That seems a 3-year-old, that seems like
Oh,
a lot.
that's the best time to travel with 3-month-olds, because 'cause they're just
Yeah, 3
quiet.
months
It's
not
like the
bad, yeah.
three-year-olds
Yeah.
when they wanna toddle around, or the two-year-olds that those are harder on the long haul, but my kids, the first both of them, the first time they'd ever gone on a long haul, they were 2 months old, 3 months old,
Mhm.
and then they do it multiple times a year, from here either to India or to California or to other places, far and wide. In their schooling system, we get time off every 6 weeks, either 1 to 2 weeks off every 6 weeks or so, and then 6 weeks in the summer, and we go. Every
Nice.
6 weeks, we go somewhere fun
That's
and
awesome.
different. And I might be working from there, that's the
Yeah.
work-life integration, but that's, the trade-off, right? Like, it's not as if I'm, you know, offline.
Yeah.
I spent 3 weeks in India this summer, and it wasn't like I was offline, but it just feels different when have your feet in the going sand,
Yeah.
um, and then you're working on your laptop and I mean, I was the most productive that week in Goa than I was, the 2 weeks before in the Netherlands, that's for sure, right?
And the extra benefit of doing work like that is typically when people take vacations, they just shut down the computer and leave for a week. When they come out, they have double the amount of work. And so they go from relaxing to being slammed with all this backed up work. But if you just could trickle and get it in while you're abroad, it's a smoother reentry when you come back. It's not hit with a bunch of stuff.
For sure, for sure. There's no and luckily I'm building a team that's really good that I can rely on to, take some things off my plate if
Yeah.
I wanna have a lighter week, um, or if there are certain things related to time zones. But, like when I was in India, I have a collaboration going on with a great, law firm now that's in India, and so we were all in the same time zone, and we got so much work done, it was fantastic, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um,
That's
yeah,
that's
and
yeah.
and and again, like with time zones, for example, like, people worry about, okay, like I'm, 6 hours ahead of Eastern, 7 hours ahead of Central, and 9 hours ahead of, Pacific, and I've had clients from, New York to Alaska, and all the time zones in between, and now I have, clients in all countries of the world, and there are certain time zones that I feel the most comfortable with, Eastern and Central, it just seems to work, and the clients know, like, call me, between 8 AM and noon, or some of my clients are early birds, they'll call me at 5 AM their time, which is like 11 or noon my
Yeah.
time. It's fantastic, but it's amazing that when you set the boundary with and just do your time,
Hmm.
blocking, and they know, well, I just have to call her between, these and I'm always available by email, but if
Yeah.
we need to have, like, a video call or a phone call, those are the times to get me, and it's never been an issue. It's never been an issue.
Hmm.
It's fantastic, and, in today's world, like, I'm in the room when we're doing, like, adjustment interviews with my clients. It might be by telephone, but I'm in the room when, with audit, investigators,
Hmm.
and or, USCOL or FMLA or, all of those when we have investigations, and I'm in the room, I'm at the table, but I'm on FaceTime or I'm on a telephone, and my clients will say, like, "You had the biggest presence in that room today, even though you weren't there." And it's truly, with the technology that we have now
Incredible.
and the
Yeah.
clients are open to it, and you it's I mean, it's fantastic. I'm